Never mind, her mother insisted, reaching for her and tugging Steve at the same time. Just get out of here. She flung them both outside one by one and backed up, making the sign of the cross with index fingers from both hands. Bradley stood in the doorway. Is something wrong? He asked innocently. Can't anyone keep quiet? Connie wailed. Just minute, honey, McKinley called. He plastered a grin on his face. Mrs. Cosgrove. His neighbor was beyond listening. She grabbed her children protectively. Run, she ordered. Run. All three then hurried down the street with Mrs. Cosgrove occasionally looking back as though something awful was on their heels and gaining. See you later, Stevie, Gerald said wistfully. My science project, Bradley moaned. Brian, Connie called angrily. My head, McKinley managed. He stumbled into the bedroom. All I ask is a little quiet, Connie said sharply. I don't think I'm asking too much. No, dear. Don't say that. You know I hate no, dear, she snapped. You're patronizing me. Yes, dear, no, dear, McKinley tried. He rubbed his forehead. Now he was feeling ill. What was all the ruckus about? Connie asked wearily, nestling down on her. Pillow. Something about a green man, McKinley said. Well, offer him a cookie or something, Connie ordered. At least he's quiet. Yes, dear, McKinley managed before slipping away. Bat in hand, McKinley inched toward the bathroom door. The boys had settled down for the night. Mrs. Cosgrove's outburst had faded like the echo of a cannon. Connie sipped some soup and gone back to sleep. Darkness had swept over the house. Most of the tax returns had been completed and emailed to clients. Mr. Jenkins, as expected, had squealed about the results and made several threatening comments, a mild concern since he lived close by, but finally quieted when McKinley offered to redo the numbers in case a small error had crept in. He would have to fudge something. There wasn't much choice between claiming to have made a mistake or conceding that a client owed far more than anticipated. McKinley figured that if the IRS questioned one of the dubious deductions, he'd concede the mistake and pay the penalty himself. No reason to lose a client over a few $100s, certainly not one with the clout and affiliations of a Mr. Jenkins. Besides, the return was almost accurate. Everyone cheated a little anyway, McKinley rationalized. Finally, as the boys settled into bed and Connie stirred uneasily, McKinley had a moment to consider the strange claim about a green man in the small bathroom. That's when he got Gerald's Little League bat. He pressed an ear against the bathroom door. Nothing. He waited. There was a murmur of water running, but only briefly. He felt his palms begin to sweat. The bat was hard. He slowly reached over with his right hand and carefully turned the knob. He agonized over each slight movement until the lock clicked open. Inching forward, he allowed the door to swing open a crack and peered inside. Again. Hi, a well-modulated, calm voice said. McKinley closed the door much faster than he opened it. His heart was beating wildly. He looked behind him. No one was around. It had to be 11 p.m. No one else was awake. No one else should be in the house. Somehow the alarm system hadn't worked, he decided. He tiptoed to the phone in the kitchen and dialed 911. A few whispered comments brought a promise of immediate help. He hurried back to the bathroom and stood guard outside in case the creature trapped inside decided to escape. He didn't feel comfortable in the role of a sentry, but gripped his bat and consoled himself that his family would appreciate his effort. A chunky policeman named Fred Waverly arrived surprisingly quickly. McKinley heard the patrol car pull up and met the officer at the door. Waverly seemed pleasant but serious. He listened gravely to the complete story, eyeing McKinley's bat. An intruder in the bathroom, he asked. How'd he get in? I don't know. There were other questions about possibly entry, location of the bathroom, other occupants in the house, and the like. McKinley waited until the end to tell the officer the awful truth. He's green, he gulped. The boys say he's green. Waverly gave a sour look, as if pondering about a possible drinking problem. Did you see him? No, yes, McKinley gulped. I just looked in, that's all. Is he green? Yes. What did he do? He just said hi. Hi. Hi, McKinley said firmly. This is very strange, Waverly decided. He walked to the bathroom door and opened it. Hi, the creature said very pleasantly, as though he often greeted people while resting in a bathtub. Waverly looked stunned. He drew himself up, adjusted his belt, and collected his thoughts. You'll have to leave, he told the green man. The creature stretched and stood up. I was just getting comfortable, but all right, it said casually and nicely. Waverly had his notebook out. The green man did not seem dangerous. In fact, he appeared surprisingly genial with a generous smile and a cheery expression. Waverly wrote down his impressions. About 6 feet tall, dressed in a green suit with green skin. A round face with no noticeable scars or markings, short green hair neatly combed with a part of the right side, horns, a tail, and long arms with manicured fingernails. Waverly wasn't concerned about the color. Several required classes in cross-cultural appreciation had muted any potentially racist thoughts. Besides, Daytona Beach was a magnet for derelicts and bums, all of whom looked reasonably strange, especially late at night.